All right, my friend, can you introduce yourself to everybody one more time?
I'm Frank Crinite, Piazza Honda, Springfield. Been selling cars for 19 years.
And how many cars you sell a month?
Average 100 cars a month.
Okay, perfect. I had to just do that.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so the thing that we want to know is how long did it take you to get to the 100-car level?
All 19 years.
All 19 years?
Yeah.
No, but
I'm still
when you
building.
started. Okay, so when did you break the 100 mark is what I'm asking?
3 years ago.
3 years ago?
3 years ago.
So you've been selling consistently approximately 100 units a month for 3 years?
No, last year was the first year I consistently got to 1,200. The year before that was 1,000. The year before that was 987, which was my biggest letdown of my lifetime, to hit 987. My kids and my wife showed up with a cake and it said 987, and I was like, oh, thank you so much, and I just wanted to throw the cake against the wall, basically. So I made myself determined that I was never going to sell less than 1,000 cars a year, ever, because that was a goal of mine to get there. And then the year after, I just, bared down and, looked at my numbers, and we were about 80% way of the year. I'm like, man, I'm on pace to do 100 a month. We're going to get there, and we just, we social media strategy. I asked for help on social media. Anybody who wanted to buy a car, that helped out a lot. And just dug in to the CRM like you were just doing, going through all my, previous customers, lease customers, customers who could be in equity position that wanted to buy a car, service customers. I hit it from every angle to get there, to get the machine flowing. And now that the machine's flowing, I become more of the hunted than the hunter. It's more, I'm just, 10, 15 times a day, my phone dings and rings. Hi, Frank, I am, or Frank, I'm sending over this person to you. So it's more just managing my time to get with all these people every single day to keep the machine rolling at this point.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to people here. So, Dean, what question do you have for Frank?
My first question is, do you have a delivery team?
I don't. This year, I have he's a valet now, but he used to be a salesperson. But he wasn't really good at sales, but he's a very, very, people like him. He's a really nice people person. So I have him, a lot of cars. I like to actually go over the cars myself when I have time, believe it or not. And you're looking at me like that. I have a ton of time left in a day. The 100 cars that I'm doing right now is, I don't want to say it's a disappointment to me, but I really need to step my game up 2019 and going forward here to get to the levels that I want to be at, that I think I should be at. So for the people that are sitting around saying, how do you have time to do that? I sell 15 cars and I don't have time to do that. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, because I have extra time in my day. All I do is figure out a way to make my processes more efficient. So do I have an assistant? No. Do I change every tag and gas every car and bring every car to detail myself? Absolutely not. That would be a waste of my time. So, I delegate out stuff to the valets, the lot guys. It's one of the good things that our dealership do. They staff us with lot guys. I think on a Saturday we'll have 4 guys there. During the week we'll always have 3, 4 guys there. So I usually pull on one guy, and he's able to help me set up Bluetooth, go over cars, stuff like that, if I have 4, 5, 6 people there, all at the same time. But to me, that's important time in the car with somebody. So I kind of like to spend it actually with them. And then a lot of times these cars are so technical anymore, I like to invite everybody back after driving it for a week or two. That really endears them to you. That actually makes them feel like you really care, because you do. And most people won't come back, but they appreciate the sentiment of, don't just drive this car and never know what that button does. Come on back. So, I always make sure we invite everybody back. If I don't have time, I'll get somebody to help them, go through the car and everything. But do I have actual assistants? No, I sell every car myself.
Okay, perfect. So you got a question as well? Go ahead.
Just do you actually, for media and advertising, do you pay out of your own pocket for any kind of
I do run some
advertising or media?
contests. I started a drive for free on me years ago out of a frustration and not being able to get enough internet leads myself. So I wanted to be able to close my ratios on referrals and repeat business was through the roof, and closing rates on internet, even though I was like the top dog, was still only 20%. So I was wasting the most of my time trying to close 20% of a customer base. And I started thinking about it, I'm like, man, it's just so stupid. Like, I'm pretty popular, people know me in the area, I need to be able to get referrals. So where do I get more referrals from? So I started spending a little bit of my own money. I bought some big check, and I started drive for free on me. So you send me a customer in, I always send you the $100 referral. I made started to do my first live videos. Send a customer in, I'll send you $100. At the end of the month, if you send me a customer, I just pull out of a hat, we use a random number generator, boom, you're number 32, you win. We pay your car payment up to $1,000. So people get excited about that. It was one of the ways that I started spending my own money to bring in my own business, basically. And then also going around to local businesses. There's not many local businesses that I don't, know or know somebody, not necessarily the owners of the business, because the owners of the business.
I'm gonna moderate. I'm going to go back on this.
Yeah.
So specifically, how much money do you invest in your own marketing? Not the business, because that's how much.
Probably not much. Maybe $1,000 a month.
Projector, the light.
Maybe $1,000 a month.
So you spend $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the dealership give you any type of co-op money, or they give you any type of budget on?
No, I don't rely on others for my success. I want to do it my own.
Okay, my question though is this: I respect that,
Right.
But again, every GM in here
Yeah.
would turn around and take co-op money from the manufacturer.
Right.
And so you're like a full-blown dealership.
Got it.
Do you think that you might be spiting yourself and not doing as you're doing great? But I'm saying, like, why wouldn't you want to go to your dealer and say, look, I could get you, you could get to 120 cars, 125 cars if they give you a small budget.
Yeah.
Why would you just don't want to do that?
It's a long story, but no.
Okay, fair enough.
Try.
All right.
Try.
So that's one question. Now, also on this, talk to us. Do you have your own website?
I don't. I use Facebook. That's my website. That's what everybody is. I mean, to me, I rarely Google websites anymore. I go through all my websites almost primarily on social media because that's what I'm on all day. I'm on Facebook or whatnot. I did start a thing we talked about a couple days ago. It was like the card tap or something like that, which I thought was really good. But I didn't utilize it enough. And I know you were telling me about another website, Build a Brand, that we were going to probably talk about and get into that I don't know much about, but I hear good things.
Here's what I'm going to say to you is I'm going to interview, but I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. You should have your own website.
Right.
So you are a real dealership. So let's just use Piazza Honda, for example. Why does Piazza Honda spend a fortune in digital marketing, social media, all that? Why do they need to? Because they have Honda. Because they're not Honda.
Right, exactly.
You're not Piazza Honda.
Right.
To me, you're like a franchise of Piazza Honda, a big franchise.
Right.
So in my opinion, you could turn around and probably get another 30 or 40 cars, not by yourself, but if you had your own website, you have such a platform, a huge base.
Right.
Then you're driving all your traffic. Everything that the dealership does or they should do, I would replicate yourself exactly how a dealership does.
Rather than paying these third-party websites for leads.
Yes.
I'm generating my own leads.
Yes.
So my cost per sale is probably the lowest in the nation because most of my stuff is all self-generated, repeat, referral customers. After a while, people, you declare yourself the expert, you prove in your confidence that you are the expert in your industry and people rely and count on you. They don't really shop you as much. They don't. They trust you. You're going to have a fair deal for them and a fair deal for the dealership. They're willing to have that give and take for you. So people are saying, you give numbers out. You give numbers out. Yeah, I give numbers out. They're not always the lowest bottom line number, but I'll give the number up front, and because people want to do business here. I don't turn buyers into shoppers, and I feel like that's a lot of times what we do. We turn people that actually really want to buy a car and just want to make it easy. Not everybody wants to shop and drive around, so I just always give out the number that I feel like is the best number for our dealership at that point by market value and doing everything that the customer's doing, looking on TrueCar, looking on everything. So I always say trust but verify. So trust, I'm always take care of you, but we always verify. If you have any questions, here's all the third-party websites. They're already out there. So if you don't know what the numbers are already, then why would I want to come to you? So make sure that you know your market and what you're trying to sell, what the price is already before you're giving a price.
No, awesome, strong. Yeah, Josh.
So I understand you've been in the business 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
Can kind of take us through your growth process from when you first got in the business
from young 20-year-old punk
to the 100
yes.
cars a month.
Yeah, so young, just there to rip and roar and sell cars and go out and have fun, and it was like unbelievable money. Right from the gate. So, you're 20 years old. My first year, I started in March. I made 80 grand my first year, and I started in March. So I was going out every single night, and going out every single night, I would make sure that I told every single person what I did. So I see a lot of these young guys that come in and they have this unbelievable platform of 5,000 friends and YouTube and Snapchat, things that I don't even know about, but yet the people that they're friends with on there don't really know what they do. And I said this earlier, that's their fault. To me, when I was out every night, I was taking credit applications on napkins from people. Obviously, that's not the right way to do things nowadays. But back then, I mean, you're telling the people that talk to a lot of people that cut your hair. They talk to 1 billion people every day. Your bartenders, people you tip, the people that you want to do business with, what your business is too, because then they're going to want to reciprocate and send you business. So I was trying to insulate myself from the beginning of just getting referrals from everybody and letting everybody know, what I did. So, and to be confident in what you're selling. I had to have brand loyalty, talk about Hondas, why they're our best car, know your product. When people ask you a question, chances are they probably already know the answer. They're almost trying to see if you know the answer to it anymore, is the way that I feel. So you have to really know what you're selling, and don't BS anybody, because if you do, they're going to find out, and then you lose all your credibility, is basically what it is. But from the beginning, you just started out like that, and progressed, got into the internet department, start doing internet leads, closing internet leads, got taken off the internet department, which was actually a blessing in disguise, because instead of trying to close leads from Auto by Tel or whatever it was back then that we were trying to get, and these credit union leads that would get faxed over back in the day, I was just trying to figure out a way to get my own leads. So through that progression, just kept building, and then I learned to be a master at leasing, how to explain a lease to somebody, how to actually take them from a customer who would buy and keep a car. Mr. Smith would buy a car, and he would end up keeping the car, paying a higher payment for 3.5, 4 years just to say he owned it. Well, when I tried to figure out how do I explain a lease to this Mr. Smith, so he explains it, I'll just sit down and write. So Mr. Smith, you're buying a car to see that you would possibly have equity in 3 or 4 years, to have a down payment, to pay a higher payment every single month just to say you owned it, and you never actually had the title. What if I could show you a way where you could take your equity up front by leasing the car, saving yourself $100 a month over the next 3 years is actually $3,600. So you're taking your equity up front rather than gambling in 4 years when you come to trade the car, and then you're going to have $4,000 in equity. So it made sense to a lot of people. You can actually put it on paper and show them, rather than just, here's a lease option, here's a buy option. Well, I always buy, because it's the fear of the unknown. They don't know. And I'll explain to them the benefits of leasing. And walk them through why, at the end of a lease, you're not going to get crushed by Honda. Some manufacturers are different. Honda wants to keep their customer base happy, so they have like the lowest fees and turn in, and nickel and dime you at the end of a lease. So that was one of the ways that I can insulate myself to, I know every single month there's 12 leases coming out this month. These are the people I can pull forward, and just keeping leasing. So leasing was one of the ways that I really start to build that funnel of customers every single month to get to the level of probably 40 cars, and then my nickname for a while was 50, and that actually got to me, because I didn't want to be the 50 car guy. I wanted to be sell more cars. And it was probably August. We were still at my store in Drexel Hill. We moved our store about 4 years ago. I was still at my store in Drexel Hill, and it was August, and I ended up selling 88 cars that month, and that was probably like my absolute proudest moment. I'm like, man, 88 cars. And just from there, just started building, just figuring out, wow, I'm getting, and from that 88 cars, probably 70 of them were referrals and repeat customers. So I wasn't taking actual ups from the floor. I wasn't taking exorbitant amount of internet leads to get to these numbers. I was actually doing it on my own. So I was a self-generated business at that point.
Let me just touch on something here, because we've got some clients, I think they had to fly out or what have you, that were from Kansas, Kentucky, but I'm going to say this right now. Most people that are not in the Northeast do not lease like we do. Down south, I've got clients, good stores that have a 25% lease penetration, where there's people in here that have a 73% lease penetration. Dean, what is your lease penetration?
It's almost 70%.
Almost 70%.
Yeah.
So guys, this is really important. A 100-car guy just basically said that leasing was a key strategy. Right. So if I was everybody in this room, guess what? I'm going to ninja learn how to lease the shit out of things. Right. Now, what's your lease penetration in Oklahoma City, just out of curiosity?
20% maybe.
See, and here's what they say. And you can kill yourself, right? That's what I feel. But here's what they get. What they say to me is that, oh, it's different over here. It's different because you choose to allow it to stay the same. I guess Blockbuster said the same thing to Netflix. No, they didn't want to watch videos online. Exactly. That's what it is. Amen, brother. The people that have a low lease, they don't have the skills, the word tracks, and they don't believe in the leases, because they've been sold. They've been spotted by their customers that leasing don't work around here. Until you have a real sales professional sell them. That's why it's called sales. It's not asking for the lease. Sell them a lease. And then question for you, for Honda, if you had a 36-month lease, don't they have pull-ahead programs?
All the time.
So now you can pull people out.
Well, you don't even need a pull-ahead program, because most of the cars, the residual is set lower than what the actual value of the vehicle is. So before they even had all these data mining programs, I would actually go into my Honda Interactive and I would pull out all the leasing customers, orphan customers that nobody cared about, back in the day, and I would go through and figure out. I had access, I got the manager's password, going into Manheim, and I would actually figure out roughly what these cars are worth. Man, that 2008 Honda Pilot's worth 20. The buyout right now, I go in, figure out what the buyout's only 17. That's $3,000. They're paying $450. So before they even had all this stuff that you should be utilizing every single day, training your staff. Like that should be the ninja training. Like if you want to increase sales right away, you need to professionally train them how to explain a lease.
Not just, I got a question. For show of hands, how many people have the ability to do used car leasing? Smart guy. Okay, so there's a couple. What bank do you guys use?
Porsche Financial.
Porsche Financial. Okay. Anybody else?
Forget the name of the bank.
You don't know?
I forget.
America?
I forget the name of the bank.
Okay.
But it's in
You guys do used car leasing?
We do.
Okay. What bank do you guys use?
American Honda does it.
American
and,
Honda.
Ally does it a little bit.
Ally does it a little bit.
Yeah.
Here's another one because nobody has mentioned it. MUSA. MUSA is a great bank that does used car leasing. I have a lot of independent dealerships that utilize it. What happens is that a lot of dealerships, they only turn around and lease to the manufacturer. I've got a company that's a client of ours called Autoflex Leasing in Richardson, Texas. They are a 300 car independent dealership. They're leasing, and they also won like the NADA. They won the National Vehicle Leasing Award. They are beasts. They average 4 G's a copy. That's the other thing with leases, that because they're not invoices, they're residuals and money factors, you could actually make more gross with leasing.
And you don't have to 72 and 84 a month everybody. You get them as a payment that they're comfortable with.
Exactly. You turn
Why-
around, you
why
put
would-
somebody
why would you
away
do
for
that?
like almost a decade.
You're never going to see them again, and if you are, you're going to be in such a negative equity position that that's not doing the right thing for the client.
So let me
You
build
can't
on this
properly
trainer
explain this.
stuff for what he's saying though. Because we turn around and don't have strong trained people, we got to turn around and try to just sell a car so we can move a unit, and then that's how you get into the 72-month finances, and then you don't see them for a very long time. But if you invest in developing your people and diversifying their ninja skills, their MMA skills, you would be able to turn around and obviously be able to make more money and have a faster turn on your people. Because if it's
The big picture.
yes.
The big picture is the most important thing.
Yes,
so-
Karen?
I have a question, but it's going to go in a different direction, so I don't know if you have
Yeah, I'm good.
anything else.
That's it. I'm done.
Okay. I was wondering, what is your influence like at the dealership? In other words, like how do people respond and react to you? Do they try to learn and absorb from you, or are they more kind of like?
No, yeah. I mean, I sell 100 cars a month, but I probably close, I would say, probably 120 to 130 deals a month between what I help salespeople say. Actually, even getting involved in some deals, they call me the Dr. Phil of the car dealership sometimes, it's because, I'm more of a problem solver, and I like to be involved. I can't stand by and listen to somebody say the wrong thing and let it go. Like, that's just not in me, even though I have no financial gain by helping them. It's just, I have to be involved. So people are like, man, everybody at the dealership must hate you. They really don't. Like, they might get upset when they're not selling cars, and and everybody in the world's coming in and ask for Frank. But for the most part, I'm there to help. And a lot of the guys try to utilize me. I should be probably doing some more training within the organization. That we're still in some talks to try to get through. But I help everybody, and I'll even go over service. Just talk to a customer who's unhappy, and it's not even my customer. I just don't want to don't want that negative connotation about the dealership online, because that's a direct reflection on me. So I have a really good working relationship with all 153 employees. So people say, do I have assistants? No, but I empower all 153 employees to do their job. And if not, I hold them personally accountable. I mean, I've had, I praise service a lot, and I blow up on service a lot because they handle things the wrong way. And to me, that's a direct reflection on me. So if there's a problem with one of my customers and I don't know about it, I'll lose my mind. Like, I want to be involved from cradle to grave, from everything to, they're pissed off that they had to wait for an hour for an oil change, or, they have a Toyota and our service department doesn't want to look at it because it's a problem. They'd rather send the Toyota. Absolutely not. Bring the car in. I'll bring it to Toyota. I'll have one of our guys bring it to Toyota. I don't want anybody out of house at all. So I have a really good working relationship with pretty much all the employees there.
So if I understand what you said, not only do you sell 100 cars, you're a mentor, role model, problem solver, and you close to other people's deals and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I don't actually go out and TO
You're
other
about
deals.
to get that, bro. They're about to just duct tape you and take you to the other store. You're not getting out of here alive.
It just takes a large suitcase of
Sean,
money.
you
It
go.
actually doesn't take
So
much
that's what I was
money.
wondering, if he had to form an independent or interdependent.
Do you test your own deals?
My number's right there. No, so I could if I wanted to. I have a sales manager there that's he's a ninja. It's like I was in the restaurant business before I was in this business, and we were a busy pizza shop. We deliver 150, 200 pizzas on a Friday night between like 3 guys. So you had to be able to talk short order to everybody. This guy, same thing. He was in a restaurant business, so it's like I can walk in and order, 3 cheesesteaks, 2 whiz, 1 without, need fries, 2 Cokes, boom, and I come back in 36 seconds, and it's already served up for me, ready to go. On a Saturday, I'll go in there tomorrow. I already have 9 appointments for tomorrow for people either coming to buy cars, picking up cars. That's not, the people that are just going to show up and the people that are going to refer between tonight and tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, I plan to sell anywhere from 10 to 20 cars, and we're able to do that because I do rely on my management staff. So I utilize them and I hold them accountable as they hold me accountable too.
Did Honda give you your own dealer code yet?
No,
No.
it's all good. And
Other
you
questions?
have to stay humble.
Yes, sir.
You can't walk around like the the cocky guy. Doesn't work.
Frank,
Yeah.
congratulations for being so successful at this. What I'm very interested is at knowing, what is your routine, if you can summarize it in one day to be so effective.
There's a couple days a week that I'll wake up probably 5:30 in the morning. I have an office off the side of my bedroom, and I'll go sit there. I'll make myself a double big cup of coffee. I got this big Batman mug that I got, and I'll go downstairs. I'll put the Keurig, 2 cups, and I'll go sit upstairs, and I'll make sure that I go through every form of communication that I have on my phone to make sure I got back to absolutely everybody. It's vital to make sure that you're getting back to everybody. Like Sean was going through that CRM today, and they missed a day. Like that blows my mind. Like if I miss getting back to a customer by more than a day, so I always within 24 hours I have to make sure I get back to everybody. So I'll go through and I have a date at the top of my blotter. It'll say November 14th, and that's the last time that I sat down and took at this time 10:30. So I know that I go back. I just scroll back through all my text messages, all my instant messages, go through, and I write down just old school. I write down on a piece of paper and just go through and take notes. And that day, as soon as I walk into the dealership, I'm texting, I'm Facebooking, I'm calling to make sure I'm highlighting, crossing out people that are dead on there so I don't keep following up with them, or people I sold. It starts a whole new routine for me. I make sure all my deliveries are ready for the day. I know on a normal day I'll deliver 4 to 5 cars a day. So people are picking up or I'm selling 4 to 5 cars a day. So I actually have my own finance manager that I just commandeered. I basically made him my own finance manager. And he really handles a lot of the paperwork for me now, and has probably been doing that a lot for the last year, which has helped me free me up for a lot more. So in essence, I'm working a lot less than I have. I'm working probably 4.5-ish days now and still selling the same amount of cars. People are probably like, you live at the dealership. I've done that before. You burn out. You get to a certain level and you can't get past that. Working hard is not the key. Working smart and having the right processes is the key to be able to get there. So morning, make sure I getting back to everybody that got a hold of me in any form of communication, messages, emails, texts, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. All your salespeople should be able to do that. Check everything, emails, and emails are probably my least form of communication. I don't get many emails unless it's an email blast that was sent out and people are just, responding back to me. Get to the dealership, get all deliveries ready. I don't get caught up in the water cooler talk. Yes, I'm the biggest Eagles fan on the planet. I walk in, I'll talk about it for a couple seconds. I don't want to be talking about it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon about the Eagles. I'm not there to talk about the Eagles. You want to talk about the Eagles, call me on a Sunday or come down to the game with me, or we'll sit outside, we'll tailgate. Is there times that we just, mentally unload and sit around and talk for 15, 20 minutes? Absolutely. But at some point you got to check yourself. Okay, great. I'm not doing anything to be productive right now. Why am I at work? I'm missing my family. I need to get back to doing what I do. So make sure all the deliveries are right, getting back. I've been really recently concentrating on getting more of a web presence by asking my customers directly through a text message with a link to do a review for me. You had a good experience, please go on, do a review for me. We have a system from Dealer Rater that posts to cars.com, posts to autotrader.com, and from doing that now, I'm actually getting requests from people to actually see me as a salesperson. So I already sold 3 cars this month, used cars, that from cars.com or AutoTrader I think I post to, and they actually send the lead in, and there's a spot on there to request a certain salesperson. So just like I go into this Mexican restaurant, we love this restaurant. Every time I go in, I ask for Oscar. Oscar's the best. The kids love him. He comes over. He's always got a story. He wants to talk to us, hang out. He'll buy us a beer every once in a while. I'll go in sometimes. I ask for Oscar. They're like, oh, it'll be 45 minutes for him. I'm like, no problem. We'll sit at the bar. We'll hang out. So you want to make sure that you're having your name out there so that you're distinguishing yourself from the dealership as a salesperson. Yeah, Piazza is great, but I don't need them to come in and ask for Piazza. I need them to come in and ask for Frank Crinite. So that's part of my day. Just making sure, again, get back to everybody and follow up and keep prospecting. So yesterday when it was snowing, I was watching about 6 or 7 guys just sit around and do nothing but watch snowflakes all day like it was a snow globe. And all day I pulled 5 deals out of thin air just by going through the CRM, pulling people forward in their leases and some equity positions, and nobody was in the showroom. So I sold 5 cars without bringing one person into the showroom, just by giving them the opportunity to be able to pull out of their car early. So a couple of those people are picking up today or tomorrow, a couple of people are picking up next week, but I just pulled deals out of thin air just because there was nothing else going on. So I'm not going to sit around and be idle all day.
Listen, you got a question? You got to go? Take care, brother. Yeah, last question.
What would this Frank, the 100-car Frank, tell a new Frank coming into the business?
What would you tell yourself?
A couple things, yeah. What would you tell yourself?
That's a great question. So treat this like it's a profession and not a job. So you need to hire people that, obviously if you're hiring younger people, they're not always the most mature people, but you have to let them see the long-term goal of what this actually is. And there's so many people that come in, they always say, I want to be you, but they don't know what it actually took to be me, the dedication that it took to actually get to this level. So you got to make sure that you're dedicated. This is something that you really want to do. This isn't you work here and then you go bartend at night to make an extra $200. You can make an extra $200 by selling half a car. So you need to really treat it as your profession and not as just a job or something that you're doing for the time being. So if you really truly want to be successful at this business, it has the most fruits, I think, of any business anywhere that you don't need a college education, you don't need to pay student loans for, you don't need to pay your dues for. You can get in, and nowadays, when I started, they didn't have social media, so it was harder to get your name out there. I actually physically went to body shops. I went to insurance agents that were trying to get me to give them business. Well, the only way I was going to give them business, I didn't want their $50 or their pretzels or whatever they were bringing every time. I wanted anytime somebody called for an insurance quote on a car, their car's totaled, looking for a new car, great. We have a guy over at Piazza Honda we work with. We have a buying service program with him, just making it up. We have a buying service program with him. You just give him a call, here's his number. He'll shoot you some numbers over the phone, even if you don't buy a car from him. It's a great resource to have for any questions or whatnot you might have in your car buying experience. So that was one of the ways that I was able to get a lot of leads that weren't coming through the dealer rater, the auto traders, the buying services, is to actually get out there, your name out there. And it's so much easier now with social media to let people know what you do. So that's the number one thing. All these people I'm telling you to keep requesting me, I click on their Facebook page. I don't even know if they're in the automotive business. I don't know if they're a bot. I can't tell almost what they are because they don't have any content on their Facebook page. They don't even have where they work, what they're currently doing. They don't have a picture of themselves. They have a picture of their kids or a picture of just like a random building or just some nice scene. Well, how does that endear me to saying, okay, I want you to be one of my 5,000 friends? It doesn't. So definitely get your name out there. Social media, treat it as a career, not a job. There's some of the things that I would have told myself, back in the day.
Wait, stay up here.
Yeah.
Is that not crazy impressive or not? Give the man a round of applause.
Thank you.